Welcome to Quiz Time. I'm your quiz master, Sean, and I've got 100 questions for you. Current events, arts, science, geography, just general knowledge, to be truthful. We do this to test our brains, to keep us young, and to have fun. So let's have some fun, shall we? Which influential novel, published in 1962, introduced the term cyberspace? 2001: A Space Odyssey, A Clockwork Orange, or The Ticket That Exploded? It was The Ticket That Exploded. Which Southeast Asian country experienced a military coup that resulted in significant political upheaval? Vietnam, Indonesia, or South Vietnam? It was South Vietnam. What art exhibition challenged the traditional art world by introducing kinetic art? Documenta 3, Venice Biennale, Sao Paulo Art Biennial. It was the Venice Biennale. That's it. The Venice Biennale. True or false? The lung transplant was first performed in 1962. Is that true or is that false? And that would be true. Which rock band released the single "You're Gonna Miss Me"? The 13th Floor Elevators, the Velvet Underground, or the Byrds? You're Gonna Miss Me, the single released by the 13th Floor Elevators. Which European country hosted the first official James Bond film, Dr. No? Italy, France, or the United Kingdom? And that would be the United Kingdom. What major archaeological discovery was made in Ethiopia in 1963? The Lucy fossil, the Omo remains, or the Turkana boy? It was the Omo remains. Which Caribbean country faced a missile crisis that brought the world close to nuclear war? Cuba, Haiti, or the Dominican Republic? And that Caribbean nation was Cuba. Which literary award did John Updike's The Centaur win in 1964? The Booker Prize, the Pulitzer Prize, or the National Book Award? He won the National Book Award. What was the significance of the Thresher submarine incident in the United States? And that significance was the first nuclear submarine accident. What was the primary function of the newly established European Space Research Organization? That would be space exploration. Which artist's controversial exhibit titled "The Store" showcased plaster replicas of consumer goods? Andy Warhol, Claes Oldenburg, or Roy Lichtenstein? It was Claes Oldenburg. Which architectural masterpiece by Louis Kahn was known for its modern design in India? The Kimball Art Museum, the National Assembly Building, or Ahmedabad? Ahmedabad. There we go. Which music genre was significantly influenced by the release of A Love Supreme by John Coltrane? Cool jazz, free jazz, or smooth jazz? And that would be free jazz. Which experimental filmmaker released Scorpio Rising? Stan Brakhage, Kenneth Anger, or Jonas Mekas? And that would be Kenneth Anger. Which Middle Eastern country completed the construction of its first major hydroelectric dam in 1964? Was it Egypt? Was it Iraq? Or was it Syria? And that would be Egypt. Which architectural project in New York City was designed to symbolize the United Nations' role in world peace? The UN headquarters, the General Assembly building, or the Peace Pavilion? It was the Peace Pavilion. In 1962, which Asian city hosted the first Asian Games held outside of the continent? Tokyo, Jakarta, or Bangkok? And that would be Bangkok. In 1964, what country became the first in the world to implement a national anti-smoking law? And that would be Iceland. Which Soviet spacecraft completed the first multi-person space flight in 1964? Vostok 3, Voskhod 1, or Soyuz 2? That would be Voskhod 1. Which famous architectural monument was dismantled and reconstructed to avoid being submerged? Abu Simbel, the Parthenon, or Machu Picchu? And that would be Abu Simbel. Which pioneering artist in 1962 created infinity mirror rooms? And that would be Yayoi Kusama. Yayoi Kusama. What major archaeological site was discovered in Iraq revealing a Sumerian ziggurat? Ur, Eridu, or Kish? And that would be Kish. Which music group became the first to perform at the Hollywood Bowl, starting a new trend in rock music? The Beach Boys, the Beatles, or the Rolling Stones? That would be the Beatles. Which European city hosted the first major retrospective of Pablo Picasso's work? Paris, Barcelona, or London? And that would be London. Which African leader was deposed in a military coup in 1963, marking the end of a short-lived monarchy? And that would be King Idris. Which Caribbean country gained independence from the United Kingdom, becoming a sovereign state? Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, or Barbados? That would be Jamaica. What groundbreaking social science book by Hannah Arendt explored the banality of evil? Eichmann in Jerusalem, On Revolution, or The Origins of Totalitarianism? And that would be Eichmann in Jerusalem. Which artist won the International Prize for Painting at the Venice Biennale in 1964? Roy Lichtenstein, Jasper Johns, or Robert Rauschenberg? International Prize for Painting. Robert Rauschenberg. In 1964, which Southeast Asian leader was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his nonviolent resistance? And that would be U Thant. Which country became the first in Africa to host the World Table Tennis Championship? South Africa, Egypt, or Nigeria? And that first African country to host would be Egypt. Who was the first animated film? What was the first animated film released by Toei Animation in 1963? Astro Boy, Dororo, or The Tale of the White Serpent? And that would be The Tale of the White Serpent. Which country introduced the first high-speed rail system? Germany, Japan, or France? The first high-speed rail system was introduced in Japan. Which artist painting, Silver Car Crash, set a new auction record for a living artist? Andy Warhol, Mark Rothko, or Roy Lichtenstein? And that was Andy Warhol. What innovation in textile technology was introduced in 1962? Lycra, nylon, or polyester? And that would be Lycra. Which country implemented the first universal healthcare system funded by taxpayers? Sweden, Canada, or the United Kingdom? The first one to do so was Canada. Which major volcanic eruption created an entirely new island in Iceland? The Katla, the Hekla, or the Surtsey volcano? That would be the Surtsey volcano. Which television show first introduced the concept of fan conventions? Doctor Who, Star Trek, or The Twilight Zone? And that would be Doctor Who. I've never been to a Who convention. What unique geological discovery was made in 1963 that confirmed the theory of continental drift? The Mid-Atlantic Ridge, the Mariana Trench, or the Great Rift Valley? That would be the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. In 1962, which major pop art piece by Roy Lichtenstein was the first exhibited showcasing comic strip art? Wham!, Look Mickey, or Hopeless? That would be Look Mickey. Which African country experienced a major volcanic eruption in 1963? Ethiopia, Kenya, or Uganda? And that would be Ethiopia. What significant global event took place in the U.S. in 1962, leading to a major civil rights movement? And that was the Birmingham Campaign. Which novel by Gabriel Garcia Marquez introduced the world to magical realism? 100 Years of Solitude, Lee Storm, or No One Writes to the Colonel? No One Writes to the Colonel. What was the focus of the first global environmental treaty signed in London? Marine oil pollution. Which European city hosted the first international conference on laser technology? London, Paris, or Geneva? And that European city would be Geneva. What pioneering social study was published in 1964, exploring the impact of mass media on public opinion? And that would be The Medium is the Massage. Which famous building designed by Ludwig Mies van der Rohe was completed in 1963 in New York City? The Seagram Building, IBM Plaza, or the new National Gallery? The new National Gallery. Which event marked the first large-scale use of tear gas and crowd control during a protest? Tokyo University riots, Selma Civil Rights March, or the Berkeley Free Speech Movement? That was the Tokyo University riots. Which pioneering pop artist painted three flags? Robert Indiana, Roy Lichtenstein, or Jasper Johns? And that would be Jasper Johns. What major geological survey was launched in 1963 to study plate tectonics? And that study would be the Deep Sea Drilling Project. Which novel by Sylvia Plath was published posthumously, becoming a feminist classic? The Bell Jar, Ariel, or Lady Lazarus? And that would be The Bell Jar. What significant botanical discovery was made in 1963 in the Amazon rainforest? The world's largest flower, new coffee species, or Hevea brasiliensis? And that would be Hevea brasiliensis. In 1964, which notable bridge was completed in Australia? The Tasman Bridge, the Westgate Bridge, or the Sydney Harbour Bridge? And that would be the Tasman Bridge. What major astronomical discovery was made in 1962, identifying a source of X-rays outside our solar system? In 1962, they discovered quasars. In 1963, what first of its kind oceanographic project took place? The Glomar Challenge, Project Nekton, or the Deep Sea Drilling Project? It was the Project Nekton. Which famous pop art installation was created by Edward Kienholz in 1964? The State Hospital, the Backseat Dodge 38, or the Illegal Operation? It was Backseat Dodge 38. Which African country became the first to recognize China as a legitimate state? Guinea, Ghana, or Nigeria? And that would be Guinea. Which innovative photographic technique was first used in 1963, enhancing space exploration? The Hubble Space Telescope, the multispectral imaging, or infrared photography? And that would be multispectral imaging. In 1964, what space mission set the record for the longest space flight to date? Voshhod 1. Voshhod 1. Which Asian city hosted the first Asian Games to include female athletes? Jakarta, Tokyo, or New Delhi? And that was Jakarta. Which French philosopher published The Order of Things? Michel Foucault, Jacques Derrida, or Jean-Paul Sartre? And that was Michel Foucault. What was the focus of the first major human rights report released by Amnesty International in 1963? Prisoner of conscience, refugee crisis, or torture in South America? It was about prisoners of conscience. Which artist's performance piece, cut piece, challenged traditional views on the body and art? Marina Abramovich, Yoko Ono, or Nam June Paik? And that would be Yoko Ono. Which film is considered the first to address the complexities of mental illness from a female perspective? The Snake Pit, Repulsion, or Splendor in the Grass? And that would be Repulsion. What European river was declared ecologically dead due to pollution? And that would be the Thames River. What notable innovation in aircraft design was introduced by Boeing in 1964? Jumbo jet engines, swept wings, or the vertical stabilizer? It was the vertical stabilizer. Which American playwright published a play critiquing materialism and nuclear arms? Arthur Miller, Tennessee Williams, or Edward Albee? And that was Edward Albee. Which ballet company became the first from the West to perform in the Soviet Union? American Ballet Theater, the New York City Ballet, or the Royal Ballet? And that was the New York City Ballet. What 1963 diplomatic treaty significantly reduced the number of nuclear tests globally? And that was the Limited Test Ban Treaty. Which artwork by Mark Rothko was considered a pivotal moment in color field painting? Black and maroon, four darks in red, or orange, red, yellow? It was orange, red, yellow. What was the focus of the first WHO conference on global health held in Geneva? Tuberculosis control, smallpox eradication, or polio vaccination? It was smallpox eradication. What innovative material, first synthesized in 1964, became the basis for modern Kevlar? And that would be aramid fiber. Which unique literary technique did John Barth popularize, challenging narrative norms? Nonlinear storytelling, stream of consciousness, or metafiction? Metafiction. Which famous sculpture by Henry Moore was installed at the UNESCO headquarters in 1963? Reclining figure, the arch, or large upright internal, external form. And that was reclining figure. What significant development in meteorology allowed for the first real-time storm tracking? And that would be the development of Doppler radar. In 1962, who became the first woman to fly into space? Was it Sally Ride, Valentina Tereshkova, or Svetlana Savitskaya? And that was Valentina Tereshkova. Which Broadway musical marked Barbra Streisand's breakthrough role? Funny Girl, West Side Story, or Gypsy? Her breakthrough role was Funny Girl. In 1964, what change did the Civil Rights Act in the U.S. bring about? And that brought about the outlawing of racial segregation in public spaces. Which philosopher published the influential work One-Dimensional Man? Theodore Adorno, Jürgen Habermas, or Herbert Marcuse? And that would be Herbert Marcuse. Which oceanographer discovered hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor? Jacques Cousteau, Robert Ballard, or Harry Hess? And that would be Harry Hess. Which pioneering film editing technique was first used in 1963's Cleopatra? Panavision anamorphic process, split screen editing, or wipe transitions? And that would be Panavision anamorphic process. What significant political event occurred in Cyprus in 1963? And that event was ethnic conflict erupts between Greek and Turkish Cypriots. Which company introduced the first color TV set in 1962? Sony, RCA, or Zenith? And that company was RCA. In 1963, the Beatles released their debut album. What was it titled? Revolver, Please Please Me, or Help? Their debut album was entitled Please Please Me. What breakthrough treatment for tuberculosis was discovered in 1963? Rifampicin, streptomycin, or isoniazid? That was rifampicin. What U.S. Supreme Court case in 1963 established the right to legal counsel? That would be Gideon versus Wainwright. Who became the youngest person to win the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964? Martin Luther King Jr., Malala Yousafzai, or Desmond Tutu? And that was Martin Luther King Jr. True or false? The Mariner 2 spacecraft became the first to successfully fly by Mercury. Is that true or is that false? And that would be false. It was Venus. What was the primary purpose of the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution passed by the U.S. Congress? To escalate military involvement in Vietnam. Which actor received his first Academy Award nomination for the film Lawrence of Arabia? Omar Sharif, Peter O'Toole, or Alec Guinness? And that was Peter O'Toole. Which country became the first to abolish the death penalty for all crimes? The United Kingdom, Costa Rica, or Canada? The first to abolish the death penalty for all crimes. That would be Costa Rica. What type of engine was first installed in a car by Chrysler in 1964? The turbine engine, the rotary engine, or the diesel engine? That would be the turbine engine. Which famous mathematician's work on game theory was first widely recognized in 1964? John Nash, Alan Turing, or Kurt Gödel? That would be John Nash. Which actress won an Academy Award for her performance in The Miracle Worker? Audrey Hepburn, Anne Bancroft, or Patty Duke? And that actress was Anne Bancroft. What unique geological discovery was made under the Greenland ice cap in 1963? And they discovered ancient river valleys. Who became the president of Brazil after the military coup in 1964? João Goulart, Castelo Branco, or Juscelino Kubitschek? It was Castelo Branco. Who won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1964 for contributions to molecular biology? Linus Pauling, Dorothy Hodgkin, or Max Perutz? And that was Dorothy Hodgkin. What was the first animated feature to win an Academy Award for Best Short Film in 1963? The Pink Panther, The Critic, or Steamboat Willie? That would be The Critic. In 1964, the Forth Road Bridge was completed in which country? Scotland, Ireland, or Wales? And that would be Scotland. And question 100. What 1962 space mission was the first to orbit Earth multiple times? And that would be Mercury Atlas 6. And that's it. That's all I've got for you. Thanks for playing Quiz Time. Drop your score in the comments, please. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss Quiz Time when it comes out. And it comes out fairly often. Thanks for playing. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.